books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is one of many podcast guests. So, no further ado, no other than Mr. Alan Salas. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Alan, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, so hi Daniel. I'm happy to be here. My name is Dr. Alain Salas. I was born and raised in south of France, and I'm a chiropractic physician. I'm also a body mind doctor or expert. And I created a technique, it's called the natural healing, which is about how to unleash the power of the subconscious mind to transform yourself, to heal yourself, and to grow, right?
To grow. So, Mr. Alan Salas, thank you so much for sharing your natural healing to the world. So, what is natural healing and how does it differ from conventional medicine?
Yeah, so you've got natural healing and you've got holistic healing, right? So holistic healing means that Daniel, if you are one of my patients, for example, I will say, I see you with somebody who's got potentially physical stress, somebody who's got potentially chemical stress, which is your internal chemistry, your organ stress, the food that are not good for you if you do have infectious agent, what's creating your inflammation basically, and somebody who's got potentially emotional and mental stress, right? So we treat the patient as a whole, right? We don't treat the disease, we treat the patient. And so obviously, in order to do that, you need to have, uh, like for any problem in life, number one, you need to find out two things in order to resolve a problem. Number one, you need to find out what's causing your problem. And it can be a health problem, it can be a relationship problem, it can be a prosperity problem, right? So number one, you need to find out what's causing it, because if you don't find what's causing your problem, you're never going to be able to resolve it, right? And number two, you need to know how to fix it. So when you find what's causing the problem, you know how to fix it. You have no more problem. You can move on, right? And
Yes.
so in order to find out what's causing the problem, you want to make sure that you can assess and address the physical aspect of your being, the chemical aspect of your being, which is your inflammation, your internal chemistry, and your environment, and also the emotional and mental uh, aspect of your being. Does it make sense?
Makes sense, Mr. Allen. So before we go on to our topic, can you tell us about being a podcast guest? So for many podcasts.
Yeah, so I enjoy being a podcast because intuitively I knew I had to do quite a bit of podcast just to refine my message, just to help me to write the future book that is coming, to see how my message is received from the guest, and sometimes the guest has got an audience with him, and so I can interact. So I really, that's what I'm at now, and so it's really important for me to bring more clarity, different perspective according to the host, and that I interact with.
So, Mr. Allen, what are the some common natural healing practices you'd use worldwide?
Well, I don't know about what other people are doing, but in order to resolve a problem, remember, you need to find out what's causing it and how to fix it. So for the physical stress, what's causing it, there's different levels. So sometimes what we call the energy is not flowing, right? Like for example, in acupuncture, you've got line of energy, right? And it's like a hose, and the water going through is like the energy. So we want to make sure there's no blockage, right? Like that you'll be more healthy. So it's kind of more like physical. And also, uh, since I'm a chiropractor, we deal with the nervous system. So the nervous system, you've got 80% of your nervous system is in your brain, and the spinal cord is called the central nervous system. So I become I became a cranial specialist, right? So I created my own energy medicine treatment, right, for the physical in order to for the how to fix it part, right? And after for the chemical part, let's see, for example, if you tell me, oh, you know what, I've got problem in my stomach, so I can scan, I can check with what we call muscle testing. We can check exactly which organs are under stress and what's causing the stress in those organs. And for example, you may have a problem with your gallbladder and your gut, and the stressors can be food sensitivity. You may have like some dairy issue, and gluten problem. And so you remove the gluten and dairy, and after your inflammation goes dramatically low. But what happened? So this I had under control, but there's such a thing. I don't know if you're aware, Daniel. It's called the mind and body connection, right? So if
Yes.
you're basically, if you're, to keep it very simple, I like to explain things very simply. If your mind is under stress, your body is going to reflect that stress, right? And so the mind is very important. So I started to learn some technique for the emotion and the mental, but I was not pleased enough, right? I knew there was something better. So after 3 years of research and testing on my patient, I created the mind clearing, right? Because in my life, I had some experience that I used to live on a boat in south of France and rent boats, right? And so I had a calling and came to the US because the calling was to help people. So I came to the US to become a doctor of chiropractic, right? Just to make a long story short. And so what happened, I was very successful. I used to have a practice seeing 250 patients a week and also having 4 employees to help me to achieve that. But I started to burn out, right? And so what happened in 1 year, since I burned out, I got depressed and I overworked. I just, what happened to me is like I got divorced. My practice went from thriving to failing. And also I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So I have to redefine everything in my life, who I am, what was the causes, what was the force that was um, making me sabotaging my health, my relationship, and my prosperity. And when I found out, I started to study the mind, and I found out that Daniel, I don't know if you know that, but we live in two separate worlds in the same time. We live what we call the inner world and the outer world. And so the outer world is basically, well, your self identity, your personality, who you think you are, what you can do, what you cannot do. And it's called the conscious mind, right? So that's basically what it is. Okay.
So go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
So, Mr. Allen, how does nutrition play a role in natural healing?
Well, nutrition, what I found out with the nutrition, it's like the best things you can do, the cheaper things you can do, which will be the chemical stress, right? So with the nutrition, what you can do, it's like to supercharge your body with oxygen. Because when you supercharge your body with oxygen, it will kill every bug, every pathogen you may have, and it will give you more energy, obviously, right? Because uh, pathogen like parasites, yeast, bacteria, and virus, they thrive in oxygen deprived environment, what we call acidic. And when you alkaline the body, meaning you bring more oxygen, that will kill everything. So that's what I found out. The main things that I do, it's very simple. It's not an alkaline diet because it's very hard to do and it's very expensive. But I created some very simple mixture to raise the pH of the body and people get healthy very quickly.
So, what are the benefits of herbal medicine in promoting wellness?
Well, okay, that's fine, but that's not really what I want to talk about, because herbal medicine, yeah, we can talk about. I mean, it does, support different systems and things like that. But that's not what I created, and that's not what my book is about. My book's got about the mind clearing and the mind. So if you allow me, I can go and explain more the difference between the inner world and the outer world. Is it okay?
Yes, go ahead.
So the outer world, we say, is the conscious mind, right? And so the inner world is called the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. And it's where, Daniel, everything that you have been doing in your life is recorded there, right? You're not really aware of what's going on. Your skills and some programming are stored there. Just to give you an idea, the subconscious mind processes data at 11 million bits per second, and the conscious mind, so who you think you are, process data at 11 bits per second. So 1 million times faster. But really what blew my mind is when I got aware of like our conscious mind is 5 to 10% of our mind, and our subconscious mind is therefore 90 to 95% our mind. And yet we focus our healing, we focus our transformation and our growth only on the conscious mind. So remember that my life got really, with that year, my business went down and my relationship with, I divorced and I got unhealthy. So I wanted to find out, okay, what is that force that's causing me to sabotage everything in my life? And so what I figured out, and it's really our subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind can get programmed, especially from the age from 0 to 6 or 8 years old, depends who are you reading. You don't have a filter too much. Your conscious mind doesn't filter, so all the experience get into a program in the subconscious mind. Let me give you an example. For example, if there's a little girl that see her dad that is a drunk coming back home every single night and beat up his wife. What do you think that little girl's gonna attract as a romantic relationship down the road? What do you think she's gonna attract as a partner?
Come again, sorry,
Well, what
mister.
she's gonna attract an abusive relationship.
Abusive, abusive parent.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so what happened, it's like, how come she's gonna attract that? Because if you ask that girl that she's on a romantic relationship, if you ask her, do you want to get beat up like your mom? She's gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
heck no, right? So the conscious mind is gonna say no, but the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predators and women are prey, right? And
Yes.
so that's why she's gonna attract those kind of man. And there's three case scenario with that woman. She may get married and stuck with an abusive man for the rest of her life. She may also, case scenario number two, she may also be with that man and separate and have another man that is kind of the same, and maybe have kids along the way. And usually those women, what they do, they say, "Oh, I don't want any men in my life. They are not good for me," right? So they would rather know that man experiences, or they can, from life experiences, they can learn from it. And if they attract a man that is loving, that is kind, nurturing, and very supportive, and see her as an equal, that's how she will have healed from that program. That program will have been done. Or case number three, but lots of suffering along the way, right? And lots
Yes.
of time. Or she can find somebody like me that can speak the same language but the subconscious mind and delete that programming, right? So the mind clearing is about three steps. Step number one, you need to delete the limiting belief, right? The negative programming, if you want. Step number two, you want to download instead empowering belief, right? And step number three, you want to create that into your life. So basically, what you want to download what you don't want. No, you delete what you don't want, you download what you want, and after you want to create that into your life to show up in your life. If I this maybe is gonna help if I compare your mind to a computer. The hard drive will be the brain, the software will be the subconscious mind. The output of the software will be your conscious mind, and the behavior will be represented by the screen of light, right? And so, what you want to do, if you don't have a good software, well, what's going to be on your screen of light is not going to be pretty, right? If it's right. And so, it's like a computer. When a program doesn't work for you delete the program, you put another one that is more suitable for your needs, and like that, you can get what you want and be successful or whatever the way, and you can use the program in a good way that serve you more.
So, Mr. Alan, is it meditation and mindfulness is included to your upcoming book?
Yeah, because no matter in fact, if you see limiting belief as, let me explain you something. Let's pretend there's a sun, right? Visualize
Yes.
a sun, and a spark of a sun is your spirit, right? And this is non-duality. So it means this is God, this is awareness, this is whatever your belief system is about, something that is bigger than you, right? And
Yes.
so it's non-duality. It means there's no good and bad. It's all varies. Some people will understand better as it's pure love, right? And after you've got clouds, right? You've got
Yes.
clouds in the sky, and after you've got your body, right? Your self-identity. And so what happens? Sometimes there's so many clouds that you can never see the sun, and you believe it doesn't even exist, right? That the cloud are the limiting belief, your negative programming that sabotage yourself and give rise to your negative thought, your overwhelming emotion, and your non-desirable behavior and action, right? So what you do when you get rid of a limiting belief, you decloud your sky, and now you can start to feel the warmth of the sun upon your body, right? So you become more connected to your spirit. You see, because here's the problem. We have been told we are only our conscious mind, but we are only 5 or 10% of mind, Daniel. That's why we've been told we are only our self identity. But when you get rid of those limiting beliefs, you are more connected to your spirit, right? And because that's who we are truly, we are a spirit living a physical experience, and we are not our self identity only.
Very well said, Mr. Allen. Very well said. And looking forward for this upcoming book. So, what will be your advice for those people out there who want to try natural healing?
So, first of all, you need to find somebody who can assess and address the physical aspect of your stress, the chemical aspect of the stress, and the emotional. And unfortunately, there's not lots of people like me, right? That's why I need to teach that. It's called the body clearing, right? So I've got three programs: the mind clearing, the body clearing, and the goal and success clearing, right? And so that will be a part of the body clearing where I teach to do all that. But what I will advise people in general is just to pay attention to their intuition, because the intuition comes from your subconscious mind. It's kind of a wisdom of your subconscious mind. So let's pretend if you have to choose between your analytical mind, if I have personally to choose between my analytical mind and my subconscious mind, my intuition, I will always follow my intuition because it's coming from higher powers, right? It's coming from, those higher power that I described previously. And also the subconscious mind communicate with us via dream. When we remember the dream, there's dream book, there's also book about dream interpretation, right? Because there's a symbolism in those dream pictures, right? And so just to try to see what your dream are telling you, right? But the big one is just try to trust your intuition more than your logic, because your intuition is coming from, as I said, higher power, right? And if you do that, lots of good things can happen to you.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Allen. And what will be your short term and long term goals as a podcast guest as well as in your writing?
Well, it's like a famous person named Gandhi say, right? Be the change that you want to see in the world. So if you guys want to have changing the world, you have to change yourself first. And I know, it's not probably not what people want to hear, right? They want to have a hero. We call that the hero complex, right? You want to have somebody that's going to take care of your problem and solve it. That's not the way it works. That's not the way the law of the universe works. What you need to do is just to work on yourself, right? And the fastest and the more efficient way to do that is to delete those limiting beliefs and create empowering one instead, like that you can rewrite the script of your life. By doing that, you become a better human being. You can be closer to your full potential, right? And so you raise also your vibration, your level of consciousness, which is going to help other people to do the same thing.
Good luck to your goal, Mr. Allen. And
Thank
before
you.
we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, in its fifth season. People, fifth season with Chef Alessandro, one of his specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letter senders all over the world. So, Mr. Allen, what are the best ways to incorporate natural healing methods into a modern lifestyles?
Well, I mean, when you when you rewrite the script of your life, your life is gonna change. So you get like a 1 hour treatment. That's what it takes, right? You can get a treatment with me. I will give you, if you go to themindclearing.com, there's in contact, you can contact me. And if you want to experience the work, right? Because experience is true knowledge, because we can talk about something forever, but till you experience the changes, the transformation, and the growth and the healing, you really won't know exactly what this is about, right? So my advice is to do that, and like that, you can change your mind, and whatever you don't like in your life, you can change it and very quickly, because we can talk the same language, but your subconscious mind, so it goes very fast. And you can go under the testimonial, and you will see how we can get rid of pain even from 10 years in 1 or 2 sessions, right? And it doesn't come back. We can, which is like more the body clearing, but also if you've got some negative emotion or negative thought or negative self-talk, right, that will impact greatly your modern life, right? And so we can change that, like that you become more positive, your emotion after will be more supportive, and your behavior and action will be more desirable. Like that you can get a different outcome in your modern life.
Mr. Alain Salas, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world and looking forward for this upcoming book. So can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming books as well as being your profession as a doctor?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Allen.
Oh yeah, you just go to my website, if you want to support me. It's like I want to treat you, I want to help you. So what you do, you just go to that jot form and fill that in, and will make you feel much better. And if you want to learn that technique for yourself or to help your loved ones, because you don't need to be a doctor, that's the good news. It's very empowering, because this is designed for everybody. Daniel, if you want to learn it, you can learn it. So
Yes.
if you want, I give 50% discount on the entire body clearing, mind clearing, and goal and success clearing, if you do all that.
Yes,
That's that.
people, let's support Mr. Alan Salas because if you support him, more coaching to come, more breakthrough to come. So, Mr. Alan, thank you for your time.
Anytime, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon. So, Mr. Alan, I'm inviting you again.